What up, guys? We have so much new information in the Classic scene today. Huge TBC news, the pre-patch date, all the big changes. Let's get right into it. So the first piece of information we have is the exact date of the TBC pre-patch. It's going to be dropping January 13th. Now, there is a lot of information actually missing from this post. How long is the pre-patch going to be? Should it be 2 weeks? Should it be 3 weeks? I would love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments, but it is still completely unknown for us. So as for what you're actually getting in the pre-patch, it's going to be the Blood Elves, the Draenei. You can finally level that Horde Paladin. You can also get your Jewel crafting at 300, or get a bunch of PvP honor and get all that rank 14 gear. On top of the pre-patch, we also have big era news as well. If you want your character permanently saved to Classic Era, starting November 25th is going to be when you have to make a big decision. This time around, you will not be able to copy your character to Era and play in TBC at the same time. So that is a huge decision you have to make. Also, if you're wondering about hardcore realms as well, there will actually not be a specific hardcore realm coming for TBC. And people are pretty much by Blizzard being encouraged to transfer to the PvE server if they want to play TBC. So with the pre-patch news out of the way, we got to talk about the crazy, insane news coming with all the TBC changes. First, there is going to be a TBC PTR coming this week. We don't know the exact date, but they're going to be testing a ton of stuff. The first big change we're going to be seeing for TBC is a huge nerf for shamans. Now, back in TBC, it was really the meta to have a lot of shamans. You would stack them in your group, and you would one by one swap them into the biggest pumper group to get them bloodlust or heroism. This time around, that will not be a thing, as bloodlust will have a 10-minute sated exhaustion debuff. The debuff is going to reset every single wipe, so pretty much just like it was back in Wrath of the Lich King. Also, one thing people were really concerned about was the economy. All of those potions being so expensive, Blizzard is doing at least a little something to try to fix that, with much faster respawns of Terracone. Will that be enough to actually fix the economy? Would love to hear you guys' thoughts, but personally, I don't actually think it's enough. Also, little thing here, we're getting the edit mode added from retail into TBC. So, really big attunement and heroic dungeon changes here. One of the big things in TBC, you had to have so much time dedicated to getting your attunements, getting your heroic dungeons unlocked. It was non-stop work on every single character. Blizzard this time around, they really want to make things much more alt-friendly. Once you hit Revered Rep on a character, you'll be able to unlock a key to get into that dungeon. And so every single heroic can basically be unlocked by a single character. The catch is, though, your ults will actually have to get friendly reputation. Maybe this is some kind of anti-bot measure, but you won't be able to walk in the front door on just a completely fresh 70. As for raids, same exact idea here. Once one of your characters gets attuned, you're basically all set. All of your characters will be fully attuned. Now, they also stuck this really small sentence in here that raids are going to be released in their post-nerf state. So this is especially relevant for SSC. A ton of people quit the game because Lady Vash was basically impossible. And also, because of the lust, the heroism change, it's pretty much the only way to go. Every single raid will actually have less DPS as a result of the heroism change. Still, can't help but feel a little bit disappointed because I was really looking forward to that super hard Mac Therodon, looking forward to some of these really challenging raids. It seems like it's going to be a lot more face roll this time around. Now, arenas are getting really big changes. They really want to up the number of participants in arenas. And the first thing they're going to be doing is they're encouraging everybody to play with different teams, play with a lot of different people. And the way they're doing that, instead of having that 0 rating start that you used to have, you're going to start at 1,500 rating on any character. That means you're that much closer to the rest of your team. It doesn't feel bad having a fresh character in your group. Also, big change here, you're going to be able to pay gold to reset your rating back to 1,500, but only if you're below 1,500. So if your team is really struggling, you're able to basically have a fresh start in exchange for some gold. Now, this is a really big change. Back in TBC, the PvP gear was super hard to get. Some of it had really high rating requirements, and it felt kind of like a big disadvantage if you didn't play arenas. This time around, though, it will be much easier, other than the shoulders, which are 2,000 rating, which is still pretty high rating. The weapons, only 1,700. Most teams will be able to get that if they put enough hours in. Also, two kind of small changes here. The PvP gear cost will be lower, so a little bit less grinding. But more interestingly, the faction reputation PvP gear. You're going to be able to mix and match these sets to unlock the 2-set, the 4-set bonuses. If you're really creative, you may not actually have to grind nearly as much honor as you were previously thinking, makes it that much less grindy. So getting into community feedback, immediately we see some people really upset about the post-nerf state of the TBC raids. People like Baited here saying it is incredibly lame of them to do it, and it's like pandering to a very vocal minority. Little Rue over here always commenting on Reddit, saying though pre-nerf, post-nerf doesn't really matter to him. He's still going to be having fun and vibing in TBC, so, nice positive comment here. Meanwhile, people were talking about how ult-friendly TBC is going to be. Antaliz talking about how ults are back on the menu. And Giftman very excited about the changes. Raid-wide heroism, the lust, the account-wide attunements. 404 Not Fool, though, pointing out this means shamans are less stackable. And yes, a lot of people are saying, oh, okay, totems are still group-locked. But ultimately, I do really think shamans are going to be way less desirable. We do have people saying totems are ultimately really good for your group. It's worth bringing the shaman still. But it does seem like the community sentiment is, yeah, people are going to bring less shamans as a result of this change. What do you guys think, though? Will the shaman changes end up being good or bad for TBC? We also got some people noting that there is no GDKP coming for TBC Anniversary, and maybe the pug scene will be dead on arrival like IG Slayer says. This guy, Icy Meat, though, he says, they fixed the pug issue by raids being post-nerf. They're so easy, it doesn't even matter anymore. It is a really fair point. The entire culture and vibes of TBC, they're going to be completely different as a result of the change. And suddenly, 100% of guilds, they're going to be able to full clear the content. The entire game, it's going to be way more about making ults doing pug content as a result. It is definitely the most controversial aspect of this announcement. They kind of stuck it in here. And a lot of people, they're disappointed. They're disappointed they won't be able to accomplish things that they were really hoping to accomplish. Maybe last time they weren't able to kill Lady Vash, and this time they were going to do things differently. This time was going to be a completely different experience. So the other thing people are talking about, the fact that you cannot character copy to Era and go to TBC at the same time, feels like a pretty big shame to a lot of people that you will not be able to preserve your character. I've actually made a petition to try to get this fixed. If you want to sign it, link below the video. Then the other thing people are talking about, the fact there will be no hardcore official TBC realm, at least not at this time. Now, there probably will be a community project in a couple months, but yeah, it doesn't look like there's going to be official TBC hardcore right now. So to recap, TBC pre-patch January 13th, all the good stuff, jewel crafting, the honor grinding. Then, when TBC comes out, it's going to be drastically different. The post-nerf raids, the more plentiful Terracone, the giant arena changes as well. This is not going to be the TBC you remember from back in the day, but maybe it'll be better. Only time will tell. Will this TBC be a success or a massive failure? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. Let me know anything I missed about the big announcement, anything you want to hear about. I would love to cover it in more detail. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in TBC.